Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Jai Shri Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Chanavatar Chaitanya Lila Vistar Karino Do Nityananda Parabja Kadunadena Bushito Yakta Chano Buddha Chincho Vavande Vyasadupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindas Chaganai Saha Jayanti Patakas Ch.Ch. Sarvesham Gurunartino. So we are continuing this morning with our hearing of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have reached chapter 13, the ecstatic dancing of the Lord at Rathayatra. So in the previous chapter, the Gundicha temple was thoroughly cleansed from top to bottom. And now that the temple is clean, in the same way that we will clean our heart before we invite the Lord, so now the Lord is being he is being brought to Gundicha, which is also representing Vrindavan. Sajiyat Krishna Chaitanya Shira Tagre Nanartaya Yena Sid Jagatam Chitram Jaganato Pivishmita. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who danced in front of the car of Sri Jagannath, be all glorified. By seeing his dancing, not only was the whole universe held in wonder, but Lord Jagannath himself became very much astonished. Jai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shota Gan Shuno Kodiya Kaman Ratayatra Nitya Prabhu Padama Mohan. All glories to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please hear the description of the dancing of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the Rathayatra festival. His dancing is very enchanting. Please hear of it with great attention. Adodin Mahaprabhu hoya savadan Rachya utti gan sange koilo pratasnan. The next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates got up in the dark and attentively took their early morning baths. Pandu vijay deki bade kodilo gaman Jagannatha Yatra Koilo Chadi Simhasan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his personal associates then went to see the ceremony of Pandu Vijay. During this ceremony, Lord Jagannath leaves his throne and gets up onto the car. Apani Prataparuja Loya Patra Gan Mahaprabhu Gane Kodai Vijay Darshan. King Prataparudra in person, as well as his entourage, allowed the Pandu Vijay ceremony to be seen by all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Nitayadi Sanghe Bhakta Gan Sukhe Mahaprabhu Deke Ishwar Gaman. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his prominent devotees, Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu and others, were very happy to observe how Lord Jagannath began the Rathayatra. Balishta Dvaita Gan Jenomata Hati Jagannatha Vijay Kodai Kodihata Hati. The very strongly built Daitas, carriers of the Jagannath deity, were as powerful as drunken elephants. They manually carried Lord Jagannath from the throne to the car. Purport. The word Daita refers to one who has received the mercy of the Lord. Lord Jagannath has a number of stalwart servants known as Daitas. These servants do not come from very high caste families, but because they are engaged in the service of the Lord, they have been elevated to a respected position. Thus they are known as Daitas. These servants of Lord Jagannath take care of the Lord from the day of the Snan Yatra up to the time the Lord is carried from the throne to the Rat car. In the Kshetra Mahatmya, these Daitas are said to come from the Shabaras, a caste that keeps and sells pigs. However, among the Daitas, there are also many who come from the Brahmin caste. Those Daitas coming from the Brahmin families are called Daitapatis, or leaders of the Daitas. The Daitapatis offer food such as sweetmeats to Lord Jagannath during the Anavasar, the resting period after Snan Yacha. They also make the early morning offering of sweetmeats daily. It is said that during the Anavasar, Lord Jagannath suffers from fever, and that the Daitapatis offer him an infusion of drugs represented by fruit juice. It is said that in the beginning, Lord Jagannath was worshipped by the Shabaras and was known as the deity Nila Madhava. Later, when the deity was established in the temple, the Lord became known as Jagannath. Because the deities were taken from the Shabaras, all the Shabara devotees were elevated to the position of Daitas. Katak Daita Kore Skandalamban, Katak Daita Dore Shripadma Charam. While carrying the deity of Lord Jagannath, some of the Daitas took hold of the shoulders of the Lord, and some caught his lotus feet. Kotitate Bada Drida Stulapatta Dori, Duidike Doitagan Utaita Hadori. The Lord Jagannath deity was bound at the waist by a strong, thick rope made of silk. From two sides, the Daitas caught hold of this rope and raised the deity. Uchadrida tulisa pati stane, eka tuli hoite twadai hado tuli teane. Strong, puffed-up cotton pads called tulis were spread out from the throne to the car, and the heavy deity of Lord Jagannath was carried from one pillow-like pad to the next by the Daitas. Prabhu Padagate tuli hoi kanda kanda, tulasa buddhijai shabda hoi prachanda. While the Daitas carried the heavy Jagannath deity from one pad to the next, some of the pads broke, and the cotton contents floated into the air. When they broke, they made a heavy cracking sound. Vishrambar Jagannate ke chalaite pade, apanichai chole korite vihade. Lord Jagannath is the maintainer of the whole universe. Who can carry him from one place to another? The Lord moves by his personal will, just to perform his pastimes. Mahaprabhu manina kore dhvani, nanavaja kolo hole kichui nashuni. While the Lord was transported from the throne to the car, tumultuous sounds were made on various musical instruments. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting Manima, Manima, but he could not be heard. Purport. The word Manima is used to address a respectable person in Orissa. Lord Jagannath was being respectfully addressed by Sri Chaitanya in this way. Tobe prataparuja kore apane sevan, suvarna marjani loya kore pata samarjan. While the Lord was being carried from the throne to the car, King Prataparudra personally engaged in the Lord's service by cleansing the road with a broom that had a golden handle. And this is a tradition they continue to this day, right? I believe so. All the descendants of King Prataparudra, they lead the Rath Yatra. It's very, beautiful example. Actually, it's a very nice point, that, because I was we had the discussion on Srinivasacharya. I was going to check some of because we weren't sure of some details. His guru was Gopal Bhatta Goswami.
You checked that.
You checked it too, yeah. And also I was reading more about, because I was trying to remember, because Srila Sridhar Gurudev, they mentioned in one place about Vishnupur, how it maintains, it maintained this degree of purity amidst they were like very strong rulers, the rulers of that I think Vishnupur is a part of that region, or maybe it's the capital or something like that. The Malla dynasty is called, maybe. But they were very strong rulers, and they maintained a great degree of independence during the Muslim rule. But one nice point that was made was that when the rulers are religious minded, it profoundly affects the whole mood of that state, or that country. And so by Srinivasa's influence, for generations after, the rulers, they maintained very strict Vaishnava practices, and that pervaded throughout the whole kingdom. When the leaders are setting that example, then that has a profound influence. And so this is such a nice example. The king himself, he's in a position of great power, but he's taking this humble service, and setting this beautiful example to the populace. But if the leaders are corrupt and degraded, then what hope can there be for the general folk? Then anarchy and degradation, all kinds of things, they ensue. And also in a general sense, that example can be applied to anyone in any type of leadership position. That was something that Srila Gurudev talked about. There was one no doubt you're familiar with that. There was one very significant talk that Gurudev gave. It was short, but it was clear, this was a very important point that he wanted to make. And he started out saying how we've seen throughout history many great civilizations, which, soon enough, dwindled down to nothing, great rulers, and he mentioned Napoleon and Alexander the Great, great rulers who had great empires. But now, what do they have, And also he mentioned great Vaishnava lines, right? Vaishnava sampradayas who have now dwindled down to, almost nothing. And then so Gurudev, he spoke about how our foundation must be on humility, tolerance, and respect. And he said, if the leaders will practice this, then we can be confident that our mission will be able to continue for many generations to spread the mercy of Mahaprabhu's, preaching mission. So, but that was, the main point that he wanted to emphasize, that if our leaders will set that example, that will of humility and tolerance, respect, that will create very strong foundation within the mission. So it is a great responsibility if anyone has such a role. They have to tolerate more and be more humble. And more, it doesn't mean that you get more honor and you slack off and, and you sit on your laurels and all your minions will attend to you. No, you have to serve everybody else. And you have to tolerate all kinds of abuse. And unfortunately, we see that. And this is what's so nice about going through Sri Guru and His grace, because it's so relevant for us. It's so relevant. We were discussing this the other day when we were going through it. Sri Guru, I probably read Sri Guru and His grace when I was 15, for the first time, and I read it several times, since then. But now it's actually becoming very meaningful for me, because there's some practical necessity for it. Because now we're facing the same situation they were facing, that Gurudev has gone, and within and without, there's so many disturbances we have to face, so many bewildering circumstances we have to face. So it's like Sri Guru in His grace really gives some reference point, some something to grasp hold of, in the midst of something that otherwise would be very bewildering, both on a personal level as well as on a societal level. Many anomalies. For us, what are anomalies? We have to face. So that book is so valuable, and it is so important to read it. Especially now. And all these dangers of leadership, Srila Maharaj, it's one of the things Srila Maharaj discusses there. The temptations that are there. So, we all can do our whatever little we can to avoid such corruption and to, encourage the this type of mood that we're discussing as much as possible. Chandanjalete kore patani she chane Ch.Ch seva kore vasi raja simhasane. The king sprinkled the road with sandalwood-scented water. Although he was the owner of the royal throne, he engaged in menial service for the sake of Lord Jagannath. Uttam hoya raja kore Ch.Ch sevan Ataiva Jagannather Kripa Bhajan. Although the king was the most exalted, respectable person, still he accepted menial service for the Lord. He therefore became a suitable candidate for receiving the Lord's mercy. Mahaprabhu Sukha Pailo Se Seva Dekite Mahaprabhu Kripa Hoilo Se Seva Hoite. Upon seeing the king engaged in such menial service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. Simply by rendering this service, the king received the mercy of the Lord. And Srila Prabhu, he commented that this was one advantage that the Western devotees had over the Indian devotees, that because not having that caste consciousness, it's very easy for the Westerners just to jump into any seva, cleaning the toilet, cleaning the drains. Whereas in India, there's that caste consciousness. There's some prejudice there, not to criticize them, but it's just something that they're, it's part of their culture, so it's difficult to overcome it. But so that meant that the Western devotees, they could attract special mercy from Gurudev, because they didn't have that type of inhibition or prejudice. There was one well-known case. One Westerner was cleaning the drains, and Gurudev was very pleased with that. And then that devotee ended up taking sannyas. I don't remember exactly how it came about, but anyhow, he took sannyas, and he continued with his service of cleaning the drains. And Gurudev was very happy. And then another sannyasi came to him and told him, "Oh, now you're a sannyasi, you don't need to clean the drain. This is not suitable service for you." And so he was influenced by him, and so he stopped. And the Gurudev, he made some comment about that. He was not happy about that. To do this type of menial service, it is a privilege. It is a privilege to do such service for the Lord. Mahaprabhu Sukha Pailo Se Seva Dekite Mahaprabhu Kripa Hoilo Se Seva Hoite. Upon seeing the king engaged in such menial service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. Oh, I think I read that. Or no, maybe I didn't. They're very similar, these two. Simply by rendering this service, the king received the mercy of the Lord. Purport: unless one receives the mercy of the Lord, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or engage in his devotional service. Atapi te deva padambuja dvai prasada leshanu grihita eva hi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya ekopi chidam vichinvam. A devotee who has received even a small fraction of the mercy of the Lord can understand him. Others may engage in theoretical speculation to understand the Lord, but they cannot know anything about him. Although Maharaj Prataparudra was very eager to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord refused to see him. But when Mahaprabhu saw the king engaged in menial service for Lord Jagannath, he became very happy. Thus the king became eligible to receive Mahaprabhu's mercy. If a devotee accepts Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the universal guru and Lord Jagannath as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, he is benefited by the combined mercy of Krishna and Guru. This is stated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his instructions to Rupa Goswami. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prashade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed of devotional service fructifies and becomes a transcendental creeper. Finally, it reaches the lotus feet of the Lord in the spiritual sky. This seed is obtained by the mercy of the Lord and the Guru. By the Lord's mercy, one gets the association of a bona fide Guru, and by the mercy of the Guru, one gets a chance to render devotional service. Devotional service, the science of Bhakti Yoga, carries one from this material world to the spiritual world. It's very nice, actually, the way that Srila Swami Maharaj explains things sometimes, because it's just so simple. He's just, and it is, actually Gurudev pointed out, we make this complicated because we're polluted, but actually the process is very simple. Like Swami Maharaj is saying, you do bhakti yoga and you'll go from the material world to the spiritual world. You chant Hare Krishna and be happy. That's it. Take the holy name with faith. Do Vaishnav Seva. You will get everything. The end. Gurudev mentioned that this verse, Cheto Darpana Marjana, we can get everything is there in that verse. And he said, it is very simple, our process, and we are making it complicated because we are polluted by a type of filthiness. But it is, it's also mentioned, I believe Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions it, that if a neophyte can get the association of an uttam adhikari, bhakta, then they can very quickly go to that highest stage. They can bypass the Madhya Madhikar stage. Having a simple heart, a simple and faithful heart, we can get out. Taking shelter of the Param Vaishnava Guru, with faith and simplicity of heart, one can get everything, actually. Ate sajani deki loke chamatkar navahema moirata sumedu hakar. Everyone was astonished to see the decorations on the Rath car. The car appeared to be newly made of gold, and it was as high as Mount Sumeru. Shata shata suchamar darpane ujval, upare pataka shobe chandoya nirmal. The decorations included bright mirrors and hundreds of chamaras. On top of the car were a neat and clean canopy and a very beautiful flag. Gagar kinkini baje gantar kwanita, nana chitra patavasche rata vibhushita. The car was also decorated with silken cloth and various pictures. Many brass bells, gongs, and ankle bells rang. Lilai chodilo ishwarate upar, adoduirate chade subhadra haladar. For the pastimes of the Rath Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath got aboard one car, and his sister Subhadra and elder brother Balaram got aboard 2 other cars. Panchadash Dinishwar Mahalakshmi Loya, Tar Sange Krida Koilo Nibite Bosia. For 15 days the Lord had remained in a secluded place with the Supreme Goddess of Fortune and had performed his pastimes with her. Purport: the 15-day period of Anavasar is also called Nibrita, in honor of the solitary place where the Supreme Goddess of Fortune lives. After living there a fortnight, Lord Jagannath took permission from the Goddess of Fortune to leave. Tahar samati loya bhakte sukha dite, rate chari bahir hoilo vihar kodite. Having taken permission from the Goddess of Fortune, the Lord came out to ride on the Rath car and perform his pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees. Purport: in this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that as an ideal husband, Lord Jagannath remained 15 days in a secluded place with his wife, the Supreme Goddess of Fortune. Nonetheless, the Lord wanted to come out of seclusion to give happiness to his devotees. The Lord enjoys himself in 2 ways, known as Swakiya and Parakiya. The Lord's conjugal love in the Swakiya Ras relates to the regulative principles observed in Dwarka, where the Lord has many married queens. But in Vrindavan, the conjugal love of the Lord is not with his married wives, but with his girlfriends, the gopis. Conjugal love with the gopis is called Parakiya Ras. Lord Jagannath leaves the secluded place where he enjoys the company of the Supreme Goddess of Fortune in Swakiya Ras, and he goes to Vrindavan where he enjoys the Parakiya Ras. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur therefore reminds us that the Lord's pleasure in Parakiya Ras is superior to his pleasure in Swakiya Ras. In the material world, Parakiya Ras, or loving affairs with unmarried girlfriends, is the most degraded relationship. But in the spiritual world, this type of loving affair is considered the supreme enjoyment. In the material world, everything is but a reflection of the spiritual world, and that reflection is perverted. We cannot understand the affairs of the spiritual world on the basis of our experience in the material world. We cannot understand the affairs of the spiritual world on the basis of our experience in the material world. The Lord's pastimes with the gopis are therefore misunderstood by mundane scholars and word wranglers. The Parakiya Ras of the spiritual world should not be discussed except by one who is very advanced in pure devotional service. The Parakiya Ras in the spiritual world and that in the material world are not comparable. The former is like gold and the latter is like iron. Because the difference between the two is so great, they cannot actually be compared. However, just as a knowledgeable person can easily distinguish gold from iron, one who has the proper realization can easily distinguish the transcendental activities of the spiritual world from material activities. Shukshma Shweta Balupate Pulinera Sama Duidike Tota Sab Jena Vrindavana. The fine white sand spread all over the path resembled the bank of the Jamuna, and the small gardens on both sides looked just like those in Vrindavan. Rate Chari Jagannath Gorila Gaman Dui Parshve Deki Chole Ananditaman. As Lord Jagannath rode in his car and saw the beauty on both sides, his mind was filled with pleasure. Koda Sabrata Tane Kodiyaya Nanda Kshane Shigra Chole Rata Kane Chole Manda. The pullers of the car were known as Godas, and they pulled with great pleasure. However, the car sometimes went very fast and sometimes very slow. Do you know why, Kat? because the Lord is moving by his own will. It's not dependent on people pulling him. Kane stira hoye rohe, tanile ho na chole, ishra ichai chole na chale karo bale. Sometimes the car would stand still and not move, even though it was pulled very vigorously. The chariot therefore moved by the will of the Lord, not by the strength of any ordinary person. Tobe Mahaprabhu sab loya bhakta gan, swahaste paraila sobe malya chandam. As the car stood still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gathered all his devotees and with his own hands decorated them with flower garlands and sandalwood pulp. Paramananda Podiyar Bharati Brahmananda Shri Haste Chandan Bhaya Badilo Ananda. Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati were both personally given garlands and sandalwood pulp from the very hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from the Sri hand, Sri Haste, his holy hand. This increased their transcendental pleasure. Advaita Charja Prabhu Nityananda Shri Hasta Sparshe Duha Hoilo Ananda. Similarly, when Advaita Charja and Nityananda Prabhu felt the touch of the transcendental hand of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were very pleased. Kirtaniya Gane Dilo Malya Chandan Sarup Shiva Sajaha Mukya Duijan. The Lord also gave garlands and sandalwood pulp to the performers of Sankirtan. The two chief performers were Swarup Damodar and Shivas Thakur. Chadi Sampradaye Hoilo Chabishkayan Dui Dui Mardangika Hoilo Ashtajan. There were altogether 4 parties of kirtan performers, comprising 24 chanters. In each party there were also 2 mridanga players, making an additional 8 persons. Tobe Mahaprabhu mone vichar kodiya Chadi Sampradaye dilo gayan bantiya. When the 4 parties were formed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after some consideration, divided the chanters. Nityananda Dvaita Haridas Vakreshvade Chadi Jane Agya Dilo Nitya Kori Bade. Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, and Vakreshwar Pandit to dance in each of the 4 respective parties. Pratam Sampradaye Koilo Swarup Pradhan Ado Pancha Jantilo Tar Paligan. Swarup Damodar was chosen as the leader of the first party and was given 5 assistants to respond to his chanting. Damodar Narayan Datta Govinda Raghav Panditar Shri Govindananda. The 5 who responded to the singing of Swarup Damodar were Damodar Pandit, Narayan, Govinda Dat, Raghava Pandit, and Shri Govindananda. Advaite de Nitya Koribade Agya Dilo Shivas Pradhanahar Sampradaya Koilo. Advaita Acharya Prabhu was ordered to dance in the first group. The Lord then formed another group with Shivas Thakur as the chief man. Gangadas, Haridas, Shriman Shubhananda, Sri Rama Panditaha Nache Nityananda. The 5 singers who responded to the singing of Shivas Thakur were Gangadas, Haridas, Shriman, Shubhananda, and Sri Ram Pandit. Sri Nityananda Prabhu was appointed as a dancer. Vasudev Gopinath Murari Jahagai Mukunda Pradhan Koilo Ado Sampradai. Another group was formed consisting of Vasudev, Gopinath, and Murari. All these were responsive singers, and Mukunda was the chief singer. Shrikanta Vallabhasen Naro Duijan Haridasa Thakur Taha Kode Nartan. Another 2 persons, Srikanta and Vallabh Sain, joined as responsive singers. In this group, the senior Haridas Thakur, was the dancer. Govinda Ghosh Padan Koilowar Sampradai Haridasa Vishnudas Raghav Jahagai. The Lord formed another group, appointing Govinda Ghosh as leader. In this group, the younger Haridas, Choto Haridas, Vishnudas, and Raghava were the responding singers. Madhava Vasudev Ghosh Dui Sahodar Nitya Kodintaha Pandit Vakrishvar. 2 brothers named Madhav Ghosh and Vasudev Ghosh also joined this group as responsive singers. Vakrishvar Pandit was the dancer. Kulingramere Kirtaniya Samaj Taha Nitya Kodin Ramananda Satyaraj. There was a Sankirtan party from the village known as Kulinagram, and Ramananda and Satyaraj were appointed the dancers in this group. Shanti Podera Charja Eka Sampradaya Achutananda Nache Tataro Sabhagai. There was another party that came from Shantipur and was formed by Advaita Acharya. Achutananda was the dancer, and the rest of the men were singers. Kander Sampradaya Kode Anyatra Kirtan Narahadi Nachetaha Shiragunandan. Another party was formed by the people of Kanda. These people were singing in a different place. In that group, Narahari Prabhu and Raghunandan were dancing. Jagannathage Chari Sampradaya Gai Duipache Eka Sampradaya. 4 parties chanted and danced in front of Lord Jagannath, and on either side was another party. Yet another was at the rear. Satta Sampradaya Baje Chodaman Madal Jayadwani Shuni Vaishnav Hoilo Bhagal. There were altogether 7 parties of Sankirtan, and in each party 2 men were beating drums. Thus 14 drums were being played at once. The sound was tumultuous, and all the devotees became mad. Vaishnaver Mega Gatai Hoilo Badal Kirtanande Sabvaishenechajal. All the Vaishnavas came together like an assembly of clouds. As the devotees chanted the holy names in great ecstasy, tears fell from their eyes like rain. Chibuvan Bodhiute Kirtanera Dwani Anyavadya Dirdwani Kichui Nashuni. When the Sankirtan resounded, it filled the 3 worlds. Indeed, no one could hear any sounds or musical instruments other than the Sankirtan. Satatai Bule Prabhu Hari Hari Bholi Jai Jagannath Bolen Hasta Jugatuli. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered through all 7 groups, chanting the holy name, Hari Hari. Raising his arms, he shouted, Jai Jagannath. Hadu Ek Shakti Prabhu Korilo Prakash Eka Kale Satatai Korilo Vilas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then exhibited another mystic power by performing pastimes simultaneously in all 7 groups. Sabe kohe Prabhu achen mor sampradai anyatai nahi jana amade doyai. Everyone said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present in my group. Indeed, he does not go anywhere else. He is bestowing his mercy upon us. Kevola kitenade Prabhu achincha shakti Antaranga Bhakta Jane Jai Shuddha Bhakti. Actually, no one could see the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Only the most confidential devotees, those in pure, unalloyed devotional service, could understand. Kirtan dekiya Jagannatha Hadashita Sankirtana dekedat Kodiyastagita. Lord Jagannath was very much pleased by the Sankirtan, and he brought his car to a standstill. just to see the performance. We should probably stop. I'll just read a few more verses. Prataparudra hoilo param vishmoy dekite vishwas dekite vivasha raja hoilo premamoy. King Prataparudra was also astonished to see the Sankirtan. He became inactive and was converted to ecstatic love of Krishna. Kashimishre kohe raja prabhur mahima Kashimishre kohe tomar bhagya nahi sima. When the king informed Kashi Mishra of the glories of the Lord, Kashi Mishra replied, "O king, your fortune has no limits." Sarvabhauma Sange Raja Kore Tara Tari Adokeho Nahi Jane Chaitanya Rachori. The king and Sarvabhauma were both aware of the Lord's activity. So Mahaprabhu's mystically appearing in each of these, is it 7 groups? Was it maybe 7 groups of Sankirtan? And Mahaprabhu is appearing in each of these groups, but everyone thinks, oh, he's only in my group. And only the king and Sarvabhauma they can see. So the king, it's only because of the mercy he's received, means he's received the special mercy of the Lord, that he can see that. Jai. Jade tar kripa se jani bade pade kripa vina brahmadik jani bade nade. Only a person who has received the mercy of the Lord can understand. Without the Lord's mercy, even the demigods headed by Lord Brahma cannot understand. Rajar Ch.Ch seva deki prabhur tushtaman seto prasade pailo rahasya darshan. Mahaprabhu had been very satisfied to see the king accept the menial task of sweeping the street. And for this humility, the king received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could therefore observe the mystery of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. Sakshate nadeya deka paroksheta doya kebojite pade chaitanya chanjamaya. Although the king had been refused an interview, he was indirectly bestowed causeless mercy. Who can understand the internal potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Sarvabhauma Kashi Mishra Dui Mahashoy Rajade Prasada Deki Hoila Vishmoy. When the 2 great personalities, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Kashi Mishra, saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's causeless mercy upon the king, they were astonished. Okay, I think it's a good place to stop. They have a busy day today. Everyone here in the temple, so okay, can stop. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Can you remember how to turn it off? You just press the top and then the bottom on the left there. Oh dear.